Good morning, good morning. Welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. It is the 24th of April. It is 11 o'clock. I am Mike, and we have another show, a Wednesday show. Today is not going to be anywhere near as hectic or boring, information-laden, educational as yesterday. Yesterday was a bit of a special show. We spent half the day talking about world reserve currencies, why they matter, why Bitcoin should be included, debasement, all of those things. We're not going to do that today. We're going to go back to form. Today, we're going to talk about the CBDC option for BRICS. We're going to talk about the Akash pump, why that happened, the bonk revolution. The SEC has been sued, and the Tether block. So a lot to get through, and again, I'm trying to break it up a little bit more. I also, for those of you that like meme coins, for those of you that like hot off the press coins and currencies and things like that, I have a new coin for you. And I'm not going to bring up the video because that's not allowed on certain platforms, but I am going to tell you a little bit about it later on in the show. So make sure to stay tuned for a meme coin, an alpha on a meme coin. It's still relatively low. I'm not making any promises, but I'm going to go through it at the end of the show if we have time. First of all, still going to stick with my $74,000 target. That's where we need to get to before anybody can talk about sexy 100K prices. Bottom left-hand corner, I said yesterday we were close to 121,000. We just crept over the line overnight. The video I made about this particular meme coin generated a new subscribers, enough subscribers to push us over. That's more good news. And then the theme of the day is it time for the bulls? I'm going to go through in my final thoughts why I think or don't think that it is time for the bulls to take over. We've had a choppy 4 weeks, 3 weeks now, and Bitcoin gets itchy. It gets itchy when it doesn't do anything for a while. It either needs to take a nap and the bears come in, or it needs to go on a bit of a run around the field and move up in price. And we're going to have a quick look at that. But first of all, we'll do the markets, then we will do the X-Files. 2.46 trillion. We are up a touch, 1.46% up. Let me just zoom out for a second. So we can. Where have all of the sexy bits of information gone from the top of the screen? They've removed them all. What? That's not much use, is it? Okay, well, we won't go through the volume. We won't go through Bitcoin dominance because it's not there. What we will do is we'll go down and have a look at the prices. Bitcoin still $66,500. Hasn't really moved since yesterday. ETH has had a bit of a pump. The reason for that is very simply Grayscale and a few others have submitted the forms that they need to submit to apply for the Ethereum ETF. It's not going to happen until next year. There's a lot of umming and ahhing, but 95% certainty it's going to be next year. It's going to be rejected in May. I don't think we're going to see the Ethereum ETF. We've talked before about affecting the price. It is going to affect the price to the downside. But as we've said, if Bitcoin pumps, it doesn't matter about the Ethereum ETF for now. 24-hour gainers and losers. I don't know if any of you guys remember, but I distinctly remember making a video on Saturday or Sunday telling you to buy, not telling you to buy, I need to rephrase that, advising you that Bonk version 2 needs to be looked at, and I even made a video about it. The news we're going to go through is majorly bullish for crypto and majorly bullish for Bonk. So if you missed out, I still think you've got time. Market cap is only 1.7 billion. It's very low. Dog with hat is up. Now, I'm going to mention this a minute in the X-Files. Algorand. At the end of yesterday's show, we went through our portfolio that we have, the $15,000 portfolio. And I said in that video that even though certain coins haven't performed very well, it doesn't affect the underlying project itself. It's just the price action. Charles talks about this a lot with Cardano. He cares more about the tech than he does about the price. Algorand has the tech. Even the great Gary Gensler himself has praised Algorand. Now, they've had a bit of a choppy period of time. But our portfolio was down about 20% on our Algorand buy. And since yesterday, we've had a rip. So I'm going to show you just what I mean by don't sell your worst performing coins unless you don't believe that the technology and the project is going to get anywhere. Stick with your convictions if your convictions are that that project is going to be a success. Hedera, by the way, is up 46% because of the news from BlackRock, and the RWAs, the word you're going to keep hearing. You've heard ETF, you've heard AI, now you're going to hear RWAs, real world assets. You're going to hear it all the time. It's going to be all over the news, it's going to be all over crypto for the next probably 2 years. Real world assets, the tokenization of real world assets, converting stocks, converting bonds, then possibly converting properties and anything else into digitized tokens. That's what BlackRock want to do. The news also came out yesterday or today that the US stock exchanges are considering moving to a 24/7 trading platform. And we've talked about this before as well. Why are they doing that? Because we are not in the 1900s. We are not in 1896 where people are walking around with bowler hats and curly moustaches on. We're in 2024. We have online banking. We have online food. You can get courgettes delivered the same day. Why are we dealing with a structure that works between 8:30 in the morning and 4:30 in the afternoon in American time? A lot of you are asleep when the American markets are open. Why are we living in that world? 24/7 trading should have been 10 years ago, 12 years ago. They're doing it now because this BlackRock move for real world assets, tokenization, creating fractionalized versions of stocks, it's an existential threat to the American stock markets, the UK stock market, Frankfurt, Tokyo, you name it. This is a threat. Crypto is a threat. So by moving to 24/7, that is stage one. What stage two? Stage two is adoption of how we have been working in crypto for the last 6-7 years. That's waking up at 2 in the morning, seeing some headline news about a project, buying the coin, waiting for it to pump 30% and selling it. Now, you can't do that at the minute with stocks and shares. You can buy and sell pre-market, but it's not the same. So this is the move of the traditional institutions, A, to get into crypto, and B, to stop crypto from replacing them. That's why BlackRock is a threat and a curse, as well as being a blessing to the price. Pepe is up, Flocky is up again. Lots of meme coins have recovered over the last 24 hours. Losers then, Akash, we're going to cover that in a minute. Stacks is down, Gnosis is down a touch, Neo, Athena, say not really too many losers today, just a few percentage points. What's a few percentage points between friends? Let's move on with the X-Files then. And before I forget, I haven't forgotten to say good morning to people. I just haven't had enough time. Good morning, Hidden Agendas. Good morning to Kishan. Good morning to Bullish Bull, Velvet Rope, and everybody else that's watching. I hope you're having a good Wednesday. It is hump day after all. So Alex Finn, America is the most corrupt country in the world and nobody cares. The head of the SEC is buying the crypto of companies he is suing. Now, this is to do with this. The United States Congress is to begin an investigation into Gary Gensler following a report which found he may have purchased 1.2 million XRP during the Ripple lawsuit. Multiple reports have also decided that Gary Gensler is likely to submit his resignation within the next days. Now, this could be speculation. I made a video about a letter from Elizabeth Warren a few days ago. I said in the video, I don't know whether this is a real letter or not, but I went along the premise that it was. Now, I'm going to go along this premise with Gary Gensler. Gary Gensler is not stupid enough to buy 1.2 million XRP during a court case. He hasn't done it through himself. He will have done it through a proxy. His brother, his wife, his sister, it doesn't matter. Gary Gensler 4 years ago was lecturing on the virtues of blockchain technology. He was saying how good Algorand was. He was saying how good Bitcoin was. He then becomes the head of the SEC. He was politicized by Joe Biden, and his job has been to slow down crypto adoption. Is that to slow down crypto adoption because they want China to get a head start? That's for you to decide, not for me. Good morning, Gianni. So, is he being sued? Probably not. This is probably fake news, but do not be surprised if Gary Gensler ends up at BlackRock in the next 2 years. He will head up their blockchain division, and if it's not BlackRock, he'll be at Fidelity or Goldman Sachs, and Gary Gensler will become the biggest crypto bull you have ever seen. Now, this is again to do with inflation. This is 100 years ago. A woman was using banknotes to light her stove during hyperinflation in Weimar, Germany. Just a friendly reminder why we Bitcoin. So she is using this currency, which was debased to the point of it being worthless. It's happened in other countries in recent times. Go and look it up. Look up hyperinflation. It's scary. When a government prints too much money to try and fight off expenditure problems and debt and whatever else it might be, it devalues your currency in your pocket, and at some point it breaks, and at some point it ends up with you having money just blowing around the streets. You look at some South American countries over the last 12 months, there is money littering the streets because it's not worth anything. That's the problem with inflation and hyperinflation. It's an invisible tax on the money in your pocket. So going back to the SEC again, the filings to launch ETF share classes of mutual funds are piling up at the SEC. Hard to overstate how huge this could be once approved. Mutual funds with $20 trillion in assets and can utilize clones, conversions, and classes to get into the ETF game. Remember, we said in January, the approval of this ETF was not going to change crypto overnight. It was going to take 6, 12, 18 months, 2 years for you and me to fully understand where we're going to go with this. The ETFs that have been approved, they, in their current format, can be added to other funds. So if you have a retirement fund, if you are Joe Bloggs and Co. in America and you've got a retirement fund worth $100 million, you need to apply to allow the the Bitcoin ETF to be added to your fund. That's just one aspect of it. You then have the independent financial, what they're called, advisors. People who go around to your house and tell you what to do with your pension funds. They're now starting to add crypto to their recommendations. So over time, you're likely to see 1% of the net wealth of America in crypto. And that's an awful lot of money. And it's going to take time. So just bear in mind, these things, it was the green light, but the car still needs to start moving. And the car has barely got past the red light, the green light. We've barely started to move. We've moved about a foot down the road, if that. Good morning, Solo Sky. And again, I like to keep an eye on this. These are the top coins based on activity. So when you look at GitHub, GitHub is a location where programmers make changes to code. And each commit of code is recorded. And you can see this daily activity. And you can record it over a period of time. And what this does is it shows you what are the most popular chains to develop on, what are the most active chains to develop on. And if we look here, some of our favorites at Crypto Warehouse are in the top 10. Cardano is second. Chainlink is 6th. Ethereum is 8th. For Tariq out there, Cosmos and Atom is 10th. What does this mean? How is this important to you? It means that these projects are the ones that are building as best they can with the most development possible. Optimism being number one. Optimism, I haven't looked at their roadmap. Maybe they're building something out. HBAR, we've just been talking about. Maybe they're looking at how they're going to integrate with BlackRock. Polkadot is up there. Polkadot is in the news. I'm not a fan of Polkadot. I'm never going to talk about it on this channel. Kusama is there. ICP is in there. So I would say 7 of these projects we are massively bullish on. One I'm not going to talk about. Kusama we don't cover. And that's pretty much it, I suppose. SNT we don't really cover either. So I don't think that's a bad sign. If you've got things like Bitcoin, remember, it doesn't require that much development because it's already built out. There is developers working on it, but they're not going to be committing at the rate that these guys are committing changes. We don't need to read any more about that, I don't think. And finally then, I don't know how I'm going to bring this up on the screen because it went off the edge yesterday. So this is the portfolio we were talking about yesterday, and Algorand was down, and you can't see it, I don't think, on the screen, but Algorand was down about 20%. It's just off the side of the screen there. You can just about make it out. If I make it one bit smaller, it might just fit. Now, yes, it's retraced 5% in the last hour. That doesn't matter. It's had a big pump. There we go. You can see now. So Algorand, which was down over 20% on the profit and loss, is now down 2%. So it's recovered all of its losses in 24 hours. And I'm not showing you this to say how good it is. I'm showing you an example of how a coin can turn so quickly. Within 24 hours, a coin can go from being in a loss to being in a profit. And one of the things that you need to consider is when you buy your tokens, if you're buying them based on hype, then you have no support. You have no support on why you've bought that coin. You've bought it on hype. If you're buying a project based on the project itself and the technology behind it, you're going to have more success in the long run because those projects are going to be more successful in the long run. That's why we tell you that the best coins to look at are the ones that are going to be here in 5 years' time. Chainlink, Ethereum, Bitcoin, XRP, Cardano, Solana, they're all going to be here in 5 years' time. Other projects which are craving attention, don't have any development going on, they're going to die or merge. You know, coins don't have to stay on one chain. We've seen multiple coins and multiple projects move blockchain, and that's a possibility. We've seen a good example that's happened recently is, I'm just trying to think of the name of it, Astroport. Astroport has just recently moved from the Terra blockchain. I think it's moved up over to one of the Cosmos blockchains. So the gods moved from Solana to Ethereum. It moved its entire NFT project. Gala has moved its coin. You've got coins that have multiple blockchains. We've looked at Bonk. We're going to look at it again today, but we looked at Bonk. Bonk is now on 9 different chains. So you might think something's set in stone, but it really isn't. And if a chain doesn't do anything for 6 months, it can die. And projects will leave that chain, especially if it's built on a common language, like Rust, for example. So BRICS nations explore development of native crypto stablecoin. Again, we're not going to go into this in too much depth. We covered it yesterday. But suffice to say, they are looking at creating a CBDC on the blockchain to allow them to pretty much trade seamlessly. Why are they doing this? We covered it yesterday. If they use traditional banking methods, they are they've been opened up to censorship by third parties. Third parties being Europe and America. If Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa, not so much South Africa, it's not a huge economy, but if the first 4 want to trade and they can do it with a blockchain-based CBDC, then nothing can stop them. If they choose the right network, of course. If they build their own blockchain, that's different. So they're now looking at creating their own stablecoin. Is it going to be a stablecoin based on a combination of their own fiat currencies, or is it going to be based on one of the 4? Is it going to be based on China, which I believe it will be? So the discussions emerged in response to the escalating global market cap of fiat-backed digital currencies, which has hit $160 billion. The proposed BRIC stablecoin aims to facilitate more efficient international settlements and support the bloc's efforts in financial integration. The exploration of the stablecoin represents a step forward for the commitment to enhancing financial cooperation and independence from traditional Western finance systems. Well, that was short and sweet. The initiative underscores the growing importance of digital finance solutions in the global economic strategies. Now, we know why it's happened. We covered it yesterday. I'm not going to go over it again, but they need to find an alternative to the dollar, in their opinion. They do not want to use the petrodollar for trade because America has been using financial restrictions against countries they don't like, or they've agreed with NATO that they don't like, or UN that they don't like. So what's happening here is they're trying to work on a system which takes money outside of the political sphere. And for me, I totally agree with this move. You are punishing a country based on the actions of its leaders, but you're punishing the citizens. Now, a politically independent monetary system also takes it out of the grasp of manipulation. If you look at what Canada did to people, where they froze their bank accounts, if you look at what happens in Spain and other places where they take money out of your bank accounts, is that fair? Is that legal? Well, it's absolutely legal in those countries, but is it legal to do it country to country? Is it illegal, or is it immoral for America to block Russia from transacting and the citizens from transacting? It's a moral dilemma, I admit, but this will circumvent those issues. And I think it's a matter of time before it happens. And as I said yesterday, the American dollar is not going to lose its world reserve currency status anytime soon. It's going to be another 5 to 10 years before it drops below 50%. And even then, it's going to be very hard to really crack it. It will happen over time. Now, before we move on, we are very quickly going to have a little look at the Bitcoin price. We haven't seen an awful lot in terms of price action. The little area that I have circled here, if we zoom it in just a tad. Now, remember, we drew this line a few days ago. This was a good price point for Bitcoin, which was 66.2. We covered it yesterday. We've now come up, and this is day 3 of sitting above there. So we broke up on Monday. Today is Wednesday. We've had a nice little consolidation period. This is looking healthy down here. The RSI is looking healthy. If we go to the weekly, actually, no, we're not going to go to the weekly. We don't need to look at the weekly. Let's go to here and get rid of some of these lines. This is a nice consolidation, in my opinion. I think we are going to push this way in the next few days. Why? I think we've broken out of this potential head and shoulders, and we're now looking. Hang on, wrong line. That is that one. We're now looking up towards this level here, 68,000. My line wasn't too far off. I think 68,000 is the next move up for Bitcoin. That's the next target to go for. Previous price action is in place. The RSI is looking healthy. We held a green weekly candle last week. I think it is time for the bulls to have a few days. Grayscale has stopped selling off. It's announced its mini ETF. I think Bitcoin now could do something like, hang on. I think Bitcoin could go here. If we kind of draw an incredibly rough bull pennant, I think we could do that. I think 68,000 is the next play for Bitcoin. I don't see anything in the news in the last 2 days that indicates downward momentum. So the news normally gives me an indication of where we're going to go. And I think we might pop back up towards 68,000. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow. Let's have a pray we get back there, because 74,000 will be here before you know it. And if you are new here, if you don't know what you're doing, if you haven't been in crypto that long, make sure to be dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin or Ethereum or both on a weekly basis, and try and pick up some Bitcoin today. Because remember, in 5 or 6 years time, if we're at $200,000 or $300,000, does it matter if you've bought it at 65 or 67,000? No, it doesn't. Not really. Not in the grand scheme of things. Now, this jumped 46% yesterday, and I didn't know why it happened on the stream, because it happened pretty much overnight. There was no news about it, and I didn't have time to read about it. So I'm playing catch up on this one. So Akash was up 46%. The surge propelled it to the forefront ahead of Core, which has been doing very well recently, and Arweave, which has been doing okay. It's trading at $6. We're going to go look at the price in a minute. There is a reason down here. The primary driver behind today's price escalation appears to be an announcement from an exchange, which it will be listing the trading pairs on their exchange in South Korea. Data from Sentiment, a intelligence platform that we use quite a lot on here for information, shows that the network's social media volume has spiked 200% in the last 24 hours. The surge in social activity, predominantly on platforms like Reddit and Bitcoin Talk, has played a significant role in the market movement. So I'm not saying this is a hype move, but this is a move based on news, and they don't tend to last as well as more concrete types of news like partnerships or chain links or integration of technology. So we will see. Now on here, it's predicting the target could be $7.46, corresponding to the fib, and then a move towards $8.64. So that's what it's predicting for Akash. Let's go and have a quick look at the chart. Now I don't know if I've actually drawn the chart, so let's go and have a look, because it's not in my list of things that I have done for the day. So let's go and have a look. Let's go and have a little look at this chart, see what we can see. So we've had a huge wick up and a huge retracement. So if we did something like this and ignore that for a period of time, move this along here, go from there to there for now. Let's have a little look then at what we came down to. So it's respected some fib levels down here. This was in the beginning of April. It touched off the red zone, and like a lot of the coins we've been talking about in the last few days, it's bounced off its bull market support band. That's a positive sign. We've seen that happen with Atom. No, not Atom, sorry. We've seen that happen with Cardano. We've seen it happen with Ethereum. I think we've seen it happen with Solana. So even though Bitcoin hasn't reached its bull market support band yet, and I should have talked about that a minute ago, but I don't want to run out of time. This one has bounced. Now, again, some of the targets for me would be a move back towards $5. But remember, when you see these kinds of spikes here and this kind of price action, I mean, that is absolutely outrageous. If you were buying this yesterday, then you've probably caught the top for a while, because that's the kind of wick to avoid, like the God candle wick. You shouldn't be touching things like that. What you want to do is look at the fib levels of previous price action and say, where's it going to go? When it wicked all the way past $6 up here, based on news and not based on valid price movements, you end up in a situation where, if we move to a lower time frame to show you, you end up chasing this wick and you end up buying all of these prices thinking it's just going to keep going up. And what you tend to find is there's no support. There's no support between here and here. So it comes down, it tries to find support on that fib level, it breaks, it finds nothing on that fib level. Now what it's done is it's touched the bottom of this fib level, 480, then look what it's done, it's gone back up and bounced off 550, and now we've retraced the bottom of this volume area. So for me, this coin has moved up considerably from $4. It's still up 30% from where it was a week ago. But if this is going to continue, what this needs to do is probably do this kind of action and then form these levels of support at the bottom. So when it comes down, it looks that way to see where it should bounce off. So if you imagine further along here there's a crash or a correction, it's going to fall to here, look there, see that, hold, maybe it crashes, it looks that way, it sees that, and it holds and it moves back up. Now what happened just now is that we spiked, and as we were coming down and we found this fib level, it looked that way and there was nothing there. So it came down again, it looked that way, and if we scroll along, you will find some price action at that level, which it bounced off and found its support. Again, looks that way, nothing there. So rudimentary TA is about using previous history as a guide to where coins can go. So is this a good price to get Akash at here? It's a lot better than buying it there. It's obviously not as good as buying it here, but it looks like it's news-based price action and nothing substantial. So in reality, what could probably happen is it could just do this and move along here. That's what's likely to happen. Or if Bitcoin pumps, remember everything goes with Bitcoin, it could do this. So if Bitcoin has a good week or two, Akash will move back to what's that, $6 pretty much. Or if it doesn't, it will stick back at $4.50. But I didn't know why the price action moved up. It doesn't seem to be based on anything of any importance in my opinion. So we shall move on. Now we know why it happened. Again, Bluzelle did the same thing 6 months ago, 5 months ago. Bluzelle absolutely God-candled. And what did it do? It came down and it came down, it came down. Good morning, Pete. Alts are going to have a run once Bitcoin has decided what it's going to do. That's really what happens. We'll have an alt season. The way it should work, as it's worked in the past, is once Bitcoin has had a run up and it's had its fun, when people sell from Bitcoin, they sell to altcoins. So they will buy Ethereum, Solana, XRP, whatever it might be. And that's what pumps the alts. So don't think that alts, you haven't got a detachment in crypto where you can buy XRP or Solana and it moves independent of the market. We're not there. Bitcoin is 53% of the entire market. If Bitcoin moves, everything goes with it. You know, you've got this huge bull on the edge of a cliff and there's 7 or 8 little farmers trying to stop that bull from falling over the edge of the cliff, and they're the alts. And that bull goes and it drops and all of those farmers fall down the ravine with the bull. That's exactly what happens. And when the bull climbs out the pit, it drags all the farmers with it. The problem with crypto is everything is attached to Bitcoin. And if you'd have held your portfolio in 100% Bitcoin for the last 2 years, by and large, you'd have outperformed everything else. There are exceptions, of course, like Solana. There are exceptions with newer altcoins, meme coins, bonk, whatever it might be. But on the whole, Bitcoin has outperformed the market. In the bear market, you hold Bitcoin. When we go through the bull market, you buy your alts because the alts pump after Bitcoin. Now, we talk about Bitcoin having a breather a lot. If Bitcoin moves 4% and then it doesn't move for 5 or 6 days, it gives the alts a chance to catch up. So again, it's like Bitcoin moves and there's an elastic band attached to the alts, but Bitcoin moves so quickly that the alts don't go. Then it pauses, and that elasticity of Bitcoin drags the alts along. Bitcoin moves again, alts get dragged behind it. When Bitcoin corrects, the alts get smashed because people sell to Bitcoin a lot of the time. So it's difficult. If you've got altcoins, don't expect them to rip today or tomorrow. You're holding them for the bull run, which is in 12 to 18 months' time. If you've made a profit on your alt, fine. Take your profit, put it into something else. But on the whole, alts aren't going to pump independently unless it's on very specific news, like, for example, this. So quick recap. I'm not going to go over Bonk again. I made a video about Bonk over the weekend telling you how Bonk was going to rip because it has signed a deal with a traditional fintech company, and we didn't know specifically which one it was at the time, but I said in the video, I think it's going to be Revolut. And yesterday, which was Tuesday, remember I made the video on Saturday, on Tuesday, Revolut announced that it was going to offer Bonk and Floki on its platform. So Revolut is just like a mobile banking app. That's all it is. It's not an exchange. It's a bank on your phone. It's never really had a proper website. It's been around 6, 7, 8 years. I've had it forever and a day. And what's it done? It's now added Bonk to Revolut. And this happened again on Monday. Now, don't forget, I made the video on Saturday or Sunday about Bonk coin. And why did I make it? Because, let's see if I can find it to explain why. Oh, my Lord. It would help if I could spell. Where is the website? There we go. Bonk coin. Now, I don't know if they've mentioned it on their website since I added it, but this is version 2 of Bonk. Again, it's a meme coin, but it has 690,000 holders. This article talks about the fact that they are going to offer this to 40 million users. That's one thing, but I believe they have a very specific earn and learn system, which isn't mentioned in this article as far as I'm aware. No, it doesn't. Okay, it doesn't matter. Basically, what they're going to do is Bonk is going to be rewarded to Revolut users for completing certain tasks within the app. And I believe that's 600,000. And then another 600,000 are going to get it in a few months' time. So that's 1.2 million people are going to be offered Bonk. They have 600,000 holders at the minute, 700,000 holders at the minute. So they're being exposed to twice as many people as currently hold it. If you're looking at price action of Bonk over the next few months, you would and should expect to see this go up towards $4 or $5 billion in market cap. It is a meme coin, but it's not a meme coin, it's a community coin, as I said in my video. What I would advise you to do is go and watch my video about Bonk. I explain everything in there about it. I think it's going to be the third biggest meme coin. I think over time it will overtake probably Dogecoin if Dogecoin gets kicked into the grass by Twitter, or if that doesn't work. Shiba Inu and Bonk, for me, two biggest meme coins in the world moving forward. Both have solid project behind them, both have utility behind them, and they are more than just a stupid, silly meme coin. Now, price action. I suppose we should do the price action. We've got not a shorter show, we've got a less strenuous show today. Let me bring up Bonk for you while we have a look at this. Peter, sold Flux at a loss. I was not happy. Beep off. It is a beep coin. The problem with alts, as I was saying a minute ago, they're not going to move independently of Bitcoin. If you want to get out of an alt, you wait for Bitcoin to pump and pause, and then the alts will pump and pause, and then you sell out. That's my strategy for coins, and that's what I've done in the past. Right then, so this is the bonk chart, and this is going back to the end of February. So down here, the news was announced that bonk was potentially going to be involved with a fintech company, but nobody was told what. And the price absolutely skyrocketed, as you would expect. But what have we just said about news-based pumps? They fall away. Okay? And in the example of bonk, it found support at different levels, and then it breaks down to what we call on here the kill zone. This is the kill zone. This is where you make a killing. You pick up your meme coins here. Now, it's all well and good talking about this huge pump that we've had in bonk, but we haven't really pumped very high. We have for this, but if you look at where we were in March, we were higher than we are now. So we were higher here and higher here. So we're only recovering back to where we were when all of this not fake, but all of this news came out. And we were in this fairly horrible, let's move that down a bit so we can actually draw this. We've got a really cramped screen when we try and show everything on here. So we had this kind of action going on where bonk was stuck. It couldn't get above this level. And then very similar to Bitcoin, we broke and we came to the fib level. And remember that fib levels are there to be respected. We then have other moves up. Now, this news for me is massive. It's massive because it's adoption. And adoption is one of the key elements for a coin to really pump. Trading volume drives the price. More trading volume, more people interacting with the coin, more exposure. People are likely to buy it. They will sell. Of course they will sell, but when the markets rip and they sit down with their mobile phone, they open it up and go, right, I'm going to buy Bitcoin, I'm going to buy Ethereum, what else am I going to buy? And they look down the list and they see bonk and they go, oh yeah, I've got bonk on my Revolut account, I'm going to buy more bonk. So because it's in people's consciousness, it's one of the coins that's going to start ripping more until the market cap gets a lot higher than where we are now, and then it will be harder to rip. And that's where we're going to get back to. So expect bonk, possibly have a retracement down here like this, and then maybe we will have a crack at this move up here. And that would be a very nice 10% move, or even up to here. This would be a 50% move. So bonk is going to go up. There's no reason why bonk is going to stay this low. And on the subject of videos, by the way, I'm making a video about Renzo Protocol today. So Renzo Protocol, which is about to launch its token. And Maneki, yes, Maneki is pumping. I'm glad somebody came into chat to remind me. So if we type Maneki crypto into Google and we scroll down, I don't know if the website is up yet. This coin started 2 days ago. Okay, so Maneki didn't exist, and now it does. Why can't I find? Let's have a look at the videos. Oh, there we go. So Maneki, I made a video about it 22 hours ago. I can probably get, I'm not allowed to do this on the channel, so ignore everything you see. Pause that.
Started exercising and quit after 3 days.
Give me 1 second. I need the page to load.
I have 2.
The reason I'm bringing this up is to, come on. There we go. I want to get the link to it. Here we go. So let's get rid of that. Okay. So this is the new meme coin. I wasn't going to get to this, but we're talking about bonk, so I'll have a look at it. So this is a new meme coin. It's launched on one of the exchanges that you are watching on. It will be launching on other exchanges. It's a Solana meme coin. Now I'm going to press play. No, I'm not, because it's going to be definitely loud. Let me just turn the volume off on it a second. Now, bearing in mind, this is a meme coin that's been around for 2 days, and these videos have been produced for Maneki. This is a Maneki video. They have illustrators, they have animators. This is not a junk meme coin. This is a serious project, in my opinion, and I see them and I call them for what they are. I called out Pepe and Bonk. I've called out Bohm. I've called out Sneck, Myro. I like the Myro project. This one looks really good. Very small market cap on this project. Again, I'm not associated with them. I've not been paid by them. The tokenomics, again, it's very Japanese themed. 8,888,000,000. There is no team tokens and no pre-sale. Right, now the issue, here's the thing, and I know Peter's going to hate this. Meme coins, they categorize themselves by animal. So you have dog meme coins, which are in the billions. Okay, so you've got Bonk up there, you've got Doge. Then you've got cat memes, which are things like Wen, which I mentioned in the video, which has a $300 million market cap. Maneki, last time I checked, I believe was about $120 million market cap. Now, this is the key, and I don't know if Ariel can tell me this. $150 million is the break point for a meme coin. If it cannot break $150 million, it tends to fade away and die. I don't know how it works. I haven't looked at the charts enough, but I've covered enough meme coins to see them reach $150 million and then fade. Now, if this breaks $150 million, which it probably, I can probably tell you now if it has. Just give me 1 second. I'm actually in their Telegram group watching their trades. So their current market cap is $133 million. So the break point for Maneki comes in the next 10% move. 143, there we go, $145 million market cap. So Arief, thank you. It's 143 million. When I covered this video yesterday, it was at 98 million. So it's at a 40% move in 24 hours. I bought $4 or $5 of this coin to give away. We're not a huge channel. We don't have hundreds of thousands of followers and subscribers, but we do give away as best we can. Now, if you want to enter and win that prize, the giveaway will probably be next Wednesday. Then you need to comment on the video with a way of getting in touch with you, and we'll give away the Maneki that we bought yesterday. But anyway, so meme coins, highly speculative and very, very high risk. They are not the type of coin that you should be putting anywhere near a large percentage of your portfolio into. 1%, 2%. Peter should be looking at Maneki, because I think Peter's going to build himself a meme bag. Now then, the SEC is being sued by the crypto industry groups. SEC is being sued by crypto industry groups over dealer rule expansion. Here we go. Oh, I'm thirsty today. Where are we? Both the Blockchain Association and Crypto Freedom Alliance of Texas have filed a complaint in the Texas federal court. Specifically, it combats the rule that would broaden the definition of securities dealer. In response, the crypto industry groups have accused the SEC of exceeding its authority with the change in rules. Absolutely. This is the one issue with the SEC. In near constant legal conflict, in large part to the agency's continued commitment to regulation through enforcement. I'll just wait for you to catch up. We have frozen again. Are we back? Okay, we Okay, I think the problems have been resolved. I'm just waiting for you guys to catch up. Give me 1 second. I think what happened was we had our internet changed last Thursday, and I've noticed these problems since then. I don't know why, but we keep having, at one point during the stream, we hang. And I don't know why. We hang for about 5 seconds. We did it yesterday at about 10 past 11, and we've done it today at 11:50. I don't know why. I don't think it's my connection, but who knows? Let's move on. Now, for those of you, I've just been talking about Maneki. Maneki trading is now live on at least 2 of the exchanges that are watching us now. It's literally gone live as we've been on air. 11:42. Maneki trading is now live. Now, I am very shocked that this coin, which started 2 days ago, has now been listed on 2 of these major exchanges. That is an incredibly fast turnaround, and it looks premeditated. Not in a sinister way, it looks premeditated that they've been listed so quickly. So Maneki must surely be one of the coins to watch in the next 4 or 5 days at least. So anyway, let's go back then. We were talking about the SEC being sued. What do I think about this? The issue is, if you do not provide these types of institutions as the SEC, if you don't provide them with clear and fast rules, they will build a fiefdom around everything. If you tell them that you can only operate within a certain field and you give them clear and precise guidelines, they will not overreach. They haven't been done that. They haven't been given that because crypto is a new industry. So you have the Commodities Commission and the SEC both trying to regulate crypto, and there is no hard and fast rule saying they can't. Why is the SEC saying that cryptos are assets? Because if they are, they fall under the SEC. Why are the Commodities and Exchange Commission saying that they are commodities? Because it will fall under the Commodities Commission. And why does that matter? Because the SEC is mostly funded by fines it imposes. The Commodities Commission is funded by the fees it generates. Can you understand? They don't really care about suing. They care about enforcing by definition. You are a security. We are enforcing you based on you being a security. The danger is, in a court of law, if you call something a security enough, the judge will side with the SEC and agree that it is commonly accepted that it is a security. And that is the problem. If you call something a name for so long, over a long period of time, and you bring in experts, those experts will agree that it is a security. The Howey test does not work with crypto. And the Howey test, again, crypto isn't all the same. They are apples, they are pears, they are bananas. Some of them are securities. Some of them are commodities. The simple way to understand this is you dig gold out of the ground, you mine gold, you pump oil out of the ground, you mine Bitcoin. It is mined. It is a mineable asset. It doesn't involve spades. It involves CPUs. It is mined. Is it therefore a security or is it a commodity? The SEC have never gone after Bitcoin because they know there's nobody to go after because it's decentralized. There's no head, and it is not pre-mined. It is something which is created based on energy. So the SEC knows it will never win against Bitcoin. This is why it's so dangerous with the likes of Ethereum that have now switched to proof of stake. Ethereum has a head of state, if you like. Solana has a head of state. Cardano has a head of state. Can you see where I'm going here? How do we know that Cardano isn't an organization which has issued digital shares in the form of ADA? How do we know that Solana isn't an organization that's issued Solana shares as its shares as digital tokens? We don't, because they're all different projects. They all have different tokenomics. But the SEC needs to be kept in line. And I don't agree with either side on this point. We need a Howey test for crypto. Were the tokens pre-mined? Were the tokens sold to venture capitalists? Because if they were, it's a security. For example, if it's proof of work, nothing is given away for free or sold, then in my opinion, it's a commodity because it's mined out of the ground. Now, between those 2 points, you have a huge grey area, and that's why you need a Howey test. 151 million RAF for Maneki. It's going to do probably a 4 to 6x from here within the next 48 hours, in my opinion. It's a grade A meme coin project. I like Bohm for what Bohm does. Great. I like Louis, which is a cat. Great. But this is different. This is different mustard, this one. Right, we're going to move on because it's 11:57. We've managed to do the show in an hour, pretty much. Remember, if you're new here, smash the like button. Give us a follow. We're at 121,000. The target for the end of the year is 200,000 followers. Now, I don't think we're going to get there. I'm going to be honest with you. I think we're going to fall short. We might get to 170, 180, 190. But if you don't set a goal, then you don't run for anything, do you? So make sure to give us a follow and a like and a subscribe. We did have a question for the day before we get on to the last article. Would you rather hold Bitcoin or Ethereum for the bull run? 71% of people have said Bitcoin and 29% have said Ethereum. Now, I don't think either of them are a bad shout for the bull run. I think, I'm going to put this a different way. I think I would hold Bitcoin for the majority of this bull run. If I had $1,000 today, I would buy $1,000 of Bitcoin today. And then as we approach next summer, maybe next end of the spring, I would look to move to Ethereum. And I would hold some Ethereum for the bull run. That's how I would do it at the end of the bull run. Anyway, Tether vows to freeze assets after Venezuela looks to crypto to bypass oil sanctions. We covered this at the start of the show, and we're going to cover it at the end. It's like a story today. We have an introduction, we have the chapters, and then we've got the conclusion. And the conclusion here is, this is precisely why we cannot have nice things. If we keep sanctioning people, countries, states, blocks, if we keep sanctioning them, they are going to find different ways around the problem. And it's the most arrogant, idiotic thing you can do. Venezuela has been told it cannot use USDT because Tether will freeze the assets. Fine. What do you think Venezuela is going to do? it's going to run straight into the arms of China and Russia, because China and Russia are going to have their own CBDC, which is uncensorable, and you can't block it. This is not the way forward. America under Joe Biden is an absolute basket case of a country. It cannot see its backside from its elbow, and it has pushed half the world and nearly all the oil producers into using a totally different system than has worked for the last 60 years, simply because Joe Biden doesn't know what day of the month it is. Doesn't even know what year it is. Don't even ask him about how his brother passed away. He was eaten by an alligator 1 minute. He fell out of a helicopter another minute. He turned to stone in Star Wars in another instance. So they're going to block payments. Now, I am not saying that Tether has a choice in this. As quite clearly it's been pointed out, they are sanctioned. So Venezuela cannot sell or buy oil with Russia. I'm not against that. That's the right thing to do. If that's what governments have agreed on, I agree with it. But you have to understand that sanctions, financial sanctions in 2024 are not the way forward. It's not going to stop what they're trying to stop. Tether said it will freeze addresses linked to its sanctioned entities following a report that Venezuela's state-run oil company was using the stablecoin to bypass sanctions. Tether respects the OFAC list, and I agree that they should. We need to have that list. I'm not disagreeing that we shouldn't have sanctions for everything. I'm saying that sanctioning half the world is going to cause them to go via different means. And it's not Tether that are in the wrong here. Tether are doing legally completely the right thing. But also bear in mind, and this is a warning to you, if you hold your assets in Tether and your government issues a decree saying that we are going to freeze all the wallets of all of our citizens that hold their assets in Tether, then your assets in your wallet are frozen. They can't move. This is the thing that people don't understand. Not every crypto is as free as every other crypto. You have a scale. At one end, you have assets that can be frozen, like Tether. Now, Tether, again, respectfully, they should be able to freeze assets because it's their job to stop crime. And I totally get that, and I agree with it. From your point of view, you are not a criminal. You are a law-abiding citizen who pays their tax. But in a future, let's call it a dystopian future. Let's tell a story. A dystopian future where an evil emperor takes over your country, and let's call him Morg. Morg takes over your country, and he said everybody needs to wear red and black. That's all you can wear when you're out and about in the streets. And if you have any crypto that's held in Tether, we're going to freeze it, and you'll never be able to use it again. So in this dystopian future where Morg has taken over, all of your hard-earned crypto gains that you've held in Tether are no longer usable. So what should you do? Because it doesn't matter if that Tether is on your ledger or not, you can't use it because your address is blacklisted. So what you should be doing is you should be holding your assets. You should be holding your crypto in assets which don't fall under centralized control. And that would be Bitcoin, Monero, for example. Those assets are not censorable by the evil dictator Morg who's making you wear red and black. So think about that. Not every crypto is created equally. Again, Tether can freeze the assets in your wallet. If you look at NFTs, for example, Star Atlas, which is a huge huge Solana-based AAA game. Within the NFTs, there is the ability to freeze those NFTs and stop them from being operational. Therefore, for me, those Solana NFTs are not your property because at any time in the future, Star Atlas can freeze your NFTs. Now, I like the game. I'm all for the game. And they've done this to stop people from stealing the NFTs. And I totally am on side with that. But you need to be aware that just because you have a MetaMask wallet or a Phantom wallet, not everything in those wallets is yours, 100% yours, never going to be taken off you again, yours. You need to choose wisely. And I remember an instance where Solana unlocked the Solana of a wallet. That happened again a year and a half, 2 years ago. Code can be changed. Assets can be seized. Choose your assets wisely. That would be the Tether story from this. So again, I am not siding with Venezuela on this. I am saying that they are creating a system where you are seeing 70% of the world's oil producers being sanctioned. So if they're sanctioned, it means they can't trade oil. So they're going to find a different way to do it. It's human nature. If you look at Jurassic Park, what does he say? Life finds a way. And that's the same with finance. They're going to find a way to do it. Very first article, BRICS CBDC. We're now at the end. We're talking about Tether freezing the assets of another nation state. That is something that needs to be taken up at a higher level, which would be Joe Biden, which would be Rishi Sunak, which would be the head of the EU. And the question should be asked of them. Are you doing this the right way? Are these sanctions working? Because what you're doing is you're creating a them and us, a West and an East. You've got the Western side with Europe and with America, and you've got the East, China, Russia, India, Ukraine. Sorry, not Ukraine are joining. Uruguay are joining, Venezuela, United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia. You're creating a two-tier system, and it doesn't take a lot to cut that system in half. So if you're in America and you go to China, you go to put your cash card in, Visa and MasterCard won't work. Similarly, if you go from China to America and you put your cash machine card in, that won't work either. So you're creating not necessarily a two-tier system, but a parallel system of West versus East, them versus us. And it's the arrogance of America that's caused this. And that's how we should look at it, because that's what's happened. And on that bombshell, I'm going to say goodbye, and I'm going to go and look at Maneki and make my video. Again, I'm making a video about a new liquid staking token. It's not new as in it's in existence, but the token is new, and that's Renzo Protocol. It's a liquid staking token on the Ethereum blockchain. It's the second largest by TVL behind EtherFi. I'm going to go and review that now in a video. Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you for turning up every day and smashing the like button and putting comments in chat. I hope you have a great day. I will see you all in the morning for another video. Take care.